Hello everybody, this is Khurram here from Power of BI. So I'm back with my second video. So in this video we will have a look at Power Pivot Table and one key difference between Power Pivot Table and a normal pivot table. So I have a very simple data model and a data table to show you here. Let's go to Power Pivot ribbon and click on Manage. As you can see here, this is a very simple data table wherein I have the month, product, number of sessions, number of users, page views and pages per session. Let's create a pivot table out of it. So I'll go to the pivot table ribbon, click on pivot table. I would want it in an existing sheet. Let me check the location, click OK. Okay, so I have this pivot table here. Let's say I want to see month here, and I don't want any other measure for the months, just the month. Along with the month I would want to see product perhaps, and number of sessions and number of users and page views. Let's say we want these things, and this is the most simplest form of pivot table that anybody can create, right? Now here's an example. Let's say the manager comes up one day and he says, I want to know the performance of the last 5 months of this year by product. Okay, and he wants a simple report in 2 minutes time. What do? Right, if you haven't worked with Power Pivot tables before, then you might run into problems here. So if I were to elaborate this problem for you, I will put it up here. Let's say we want to look at number of sessions and we want to analyze the performance for last 6 months, 5 months. Let's say, let's write the product names here. I'll say product A and product B equal to formula, and I'm looking at January 2016 sessions, so and product A. So I have product A here, sessions, and let's scroll down to January 2016, click here. So as you can see, the GetPivotData nomenclature that we see here is quite different from what we are used to seeing in pivot tables. You can see measures dot, and then you can see the date in some creepy format here. How do we resolve this? How do we get this sorted out? So let's fix this one by one. I know for a fact that product A can be countered here. So instead of hard coding product A, I can probably link it to cell H4, but it's not that simple. You want to know why? Have a look. If I delete product A and I click on this, it doesn't allow me. So let's undo it. If I delete the text and put this in double quotes and then select my product A, even then it doesn't allow it. There's a special nomenclature in place for Power Pivot Tables GetPivotData format. And what exactly is that? Let's have a look. So first of all, I will remove the text in between of my square brackets, put double quotes, come in between, put 2 ampersands, come in between, and then make a selection of my right range or the cell. I will lock it thrice, enter. So my product is locked. So if I scroll this down, it understands this as product A and it understands this as product B. I'm able to fix that. So let's remove this formula in product B for the time being. Let's go back to product A. Next thing we want to counter is the months here. So as you can see, the month date is in this format. So if I were to just copy this format and paste it here, you can see the format here is YYY and then MM and then DD. And then I have something called T00, that's the time format, right? How do I convert this particular month into this format? Let's try if we can do this. Let's build a text function which looks at this value, and the format I want to give it is YYY-MM-DD. What does it give me? It gives me exactly the same thing till 01. Everything that is after that I can probably concatenate. So I can come back here, put %, and within quotes I can put this value here. I just want to be sure the values are the same or not, so I will do an boolean check. Is this equal to this? Yes, it exactly is. So what I can do is I can copy this string of text that I have, copy, and then replace it within my formula here. So I will delete my text here. Again the same nomenclature, 2 quotes, come in between, 2 ampersands, come in between, and then control V. Go ahead and press. So before you press enter, make sure that this is locked twice so that you can go move along the columns here, 1 2, and then press enter. We can get rid of this formula here, so press delete. Let's move this across and move this down. So the beauty of this formula is, before that let's format it. The beauty of this formula is, tomorrow if I'm changing my month or year here, the formulas change, right? And this is directly coming from PowerPivot table. Great. So now we know how do we tackle the problems that PowerPivot table GetPivotData formula brings on table. That is one method. So if we were to get rid of this, another method that we can probably make use of, instead of creating a new report, we can somehow customize the pivot table itself. Let's say I want to insert a row. Does it allow me? Oops, it doesn't allow me. It gives me an error, which is natural, which is what you get with any pivot table. So here's the magic. There's something called CUBEFORMULAs in PowerPivot tables. How do you come across CUBEFORMULAs in a normal pivot table? So in order to do that, you will need to convert the pivot table into formulas. Yes, you heard it right. The pivot table can be converted into formulas. Here is how it works. So you go to Analyze, click on OLAP Tools and say Convert to Formulas. Did you see what just happened? Your pivot table got converted into formulas, which means these are normal Excel formulas. You can insert rows in between. You can do any sort of manipulation. You can bring in product B details from the bottom and put it right up here. You can create some columns here. You can add some rows in between. So this is so much more flexible than a pivot table, but it is running CUBEFORMULAs. So if you were to look at the CUBEFORMULA nomenclature here, you will see the first string is about connection, which is always going to be this workbook data model, and then you have two set of filters. So first is product A and second here is sum of sessions, for example. So this goes across all the sheets, and even when you move the formulas from one position to another positions, they change automatically, they adjust automatically. Isn't it beautiful? So these were the two things that I wanted to share with you related to PowerPivot tables. To recap, first one is with respect to creating this. Let's say the second one is with respect to creating cube values, and the first one is to encounter get pivot table in PowerPivot table, which is a bit different from traditional pivot tables. So I hope you liked the video and you have made some learning out of it. So keep watching and stay tuned to this channel for more videos. Cheers.